Yeah, I mean, obviously, at times we were less than spectacular in it, but I thought kind of weathered the storm. That's what he does. You know, when we compared him early in the week to like a McCaffrey, you know, kind of in our history, that's you know really was intended to be the ultimate compliment. And you hold your breath every time he carries the football, every single time. That he's going to run through a tackle, and if he runs through one. What are the odds you're going to have two guys available to get him on the ground, and then he's gone. And so, in any event, no, the ultimate respect for him and that offense. And I thought we weathered it early. I mean, I thought it was critical. Give them credit for out executing us early. Finding a way to make them count in threes was a critical element because we didn't have our feet underneath us. Again, number one, credit goes to them and obviously him, and then number two, I just thought maybe early on, which hasn't been a real I say issue for us, kind of out the gate type of thing in terms of not being ready to go, and I just didn't think we had our feet underneath us early, but holding them to the threes, kind of weathered the storm, and obviously played better ball as the game went on. Well, excited for him, and for the bulk of this season, we've been just dying for takeaways, and had an opportunity tonight to get a couple. Obviously, the additional one on the sideline that kind of could have gone our way, but stripping at the ball, and I think so much of that too is one guy doing it can turn into two guys doing it, and then you see the success rate of that individual making those. Now can kind of snowball, and then ideally it snowballs. And so I was excited for him, and we're dying for playmakers in our secondary, and then he made a few tonight, and that's obviously a positive.
We've seen numbers on him all season. Pro Football Focus grades him out as the highest cornerback, sometimes in the country per week. How's he been? I mean, in addition to his turnovers tonight, it looked like he had a very stellar game in coverage.
Well, he has, and we've had a couple issues from a pass interference standpoint. You're always weighing that the aggressiveness versus putting yourself in the bad spot, reach out, grabbing, and some of those things. And so we get frustrated with those because they extend drives, and it's a 15-yard penalty is equates to it's a 15-yard catch. In any event, so that's kind of been something we've had to continue to work through. But no, he's played well. He's one of those guys that we struggle to take off the field, and that credit goes to him and credit goes to Coach Manning.
Those two freshmen, David Wakefield and Mason, can you kind of talk about the growth and them filling in for John Michael Terry, because for a while it seemed like that was a huge loss, and then they've kind of grown into just feeling comfortable in that position?
No, I think it is. I think for us trying to find the right rotation in terms of the right mix between the two of them. Early on, again, I had a little bit more trust in Nick because he had done it more, and we're kind of just mixing in David, trying to get him going. Then all of a sudden, John Michael goes out. And so then now it's Nick is, instead of a situational guy or a part-time player for us, now he's the starter, and all of a sudden David, who's getting a couple of reps a game, all of a sudden now he kind of assumes the role that Nick once had, and so that's a position that we constantly are fighting to get, not just that position, across the board, more production from, but it's intended to be that rush linebacker spot is that edge guy that we're going to gain in the pass, whether it's in coverage or setting an edge in the run game or rushing the passer. Versus pass as well, and so both those guys are coming along. One's a redshirt freshman, one's a true freshman. Tall order for both of them, and while learning a new defense as young players. So it's progress, and we're excited about both of them moving forward.
Alex, what did it mean to your defense to be able to have an offense that controlled the ball like it did? Kendi Brooks had the night he had, and kind of out-dueled Chuba, and I mean, just what did that mean for your defense on a night like this when the wind was blowing and all that?
Well, I think what happens is you reap the benefits of getting, when you get off the field, then you're able to reap the benefits of it. It's one thing to get off the field in the situation or hold them to a field goal, and then it's a 3-and-out punt situation for our offense, and you're right back out there. And so that you felt like you weathered the storm, maybe held them to 3, and maybe in best case scenario you held them without points. But then you're immediately back out there, and it's again, the best way to describe it is you don't reap the benefits of it. And so no, that's a huge piece of it. And you saw I certainly think you saw some of the benefit of that complementary football, which we're trying so hard to do our part on our side of the ball.
3 straight games you guys have held offenses to field goals right before halftime after they drove
Well, I think as you talk about the red zone, I think that's something that continues to be something that we harp on. I think from an improvement standpoint, you like to say, okay, we've improved in all areas defensively, and that's obviously inaccurate. I mean, I think from a takeaway standpoint, obviously we're climbing out of the hole that we dug for ourselves over the bulk of the year. And I think from a red zone standpoint, I think that we got to bow up more. We got to find a way to we say counting threes. That's obviously a critical piece, and certainly was tonight. But make them, there's got to be some instances where it's zero. They get down there, we get a takeaway, find a way to get off the field. And so in any event, no, it's critical. And we tell our guys, you can't beat Oklahoma counting the threes. There's not a lot of guarantees in this lifetime, but one of them is you can't beat us counting threes. And again, is it all true? It doesn't matter if it's true. We believe in it and we sell that. And so no, that's if you're not going to count them in zeros, you got to find a way to get them off the field, and not that 7-3. The difference in that, I know it's 4 points on the scoreboard, but it's astronomical. So that was a positive. Certainly added to that was the fact that they had the ball coming out of halftime.
Sorry, your first Bedlam game. You've seen the guys play against TCU. You've seen them play against Baylor. On and on. Did you get a sense they were playing with a little more juice tonight? Rivalry game, that kind of thing?
No, you know what? I thought our energy was good. I really highlighted our energy over the last few weeks. I think our guys have really made a point to not look to maybe the outside or the circumstances to kind of create some of that energy. By no means would I minimize the fact that being here against a real quality football team on the road at night, 12th game, and in-state, no, they certainly knew the magnitude of it, and I thought the energy was really good. But again, you got to make sure if we're going to make such an emphasis on the de-emphasis of the outside and the circumstances and all those things, then I like to think it's something we've been building over time.
You talked so much about practice and how pleased you were with that, but you get into games now, and now you're seeing your team getting turnovers to end games. Tonight you're facing one of the best running backs in the country. You get a couple of huge fourth down stops, especially the 4th and 1. Is there just something that you're seeing more and more of out of this defense every time you go out right now?
Well, I do. I think you see a little bit more carryover between the week of work and Saturdays, I think, and where does that come from? Maybe a little bit more confidence in terms of, the things that we're asking them to do, that as opposed to, thinking that whatever effort it took to be, productive on a Tuesday, somehow it has to be tenfold come Saturday. And so I think trusting in that the things we're asking them to do and the environment we put them in over the course of the week, it can translate and will translate if we buy into it. And I think, other than that, I think it's just, not being the type of defense that rides the roller coaster based on momentum. Momentum, obviously created by us, lost by us, included, obviously, at the what the offense is doing. I mean, if you allow yourself, or the crowd noise, or everything else, how are things going? It can really be a long Saturday, and we've had a couple of those. And so, in any event, been pleased with over the last couple of weeks, kind of just the grit that we've displayed.
Is there something on the sideline you're seeing, though? I don't know whether it's the way they look at you, the way they talk to each other, the way they talk, communicate. Is there something that you see different there that's developing?
The thing I've noticed is that they're talking like us now. They talk like the coaching staff. They're saying the things before we have to say them, in terms of avoiding the noise and not making evaluations. That's been a big part of it. There's no you can only win the game in the fourth quarter. All those things that we keep kind of hitting them over the head with. That they're now they're hitting us with it, which is a positive.
Alex, moving forward, you got Baylor. You just played them a couple weeks ago. What's it going to be like going through this process again, where kids are familiar with personnel on this team?
Well, it's unique, and I go back through my history, and the minute you ask that, I'm trying to think how many times that's actually happened in my career. It certainly has, but not many. And I think what you got to do is you obviously take stock in the previous game in terms of how they attacked us, but you also got to give them credit in terms of them analyzing how we attack them. And so, but you also got to be you, and I think they certainly would look at it the same way from their side of things. And it's a tremendous team program. They certainly have our respect. And you play in the championship game, which I've been fortunate to be a part of a couple on both sides of it. You're going to play a real one. And if you don't play your best game this next Saturday, then it obviously won't go your way.
We got time for one more.
You guys are, seems like you guys are hitting your stride here at the end of the year. Is that good to just, good, I guess, good for you to see, knowing how much you've tried to implement a mentality and a culture and how it's kind of turned out here towards the end?
I think there may be some. I won't go there. I won't go there because we got one game left, and we talked about one game evaluations, and we're going to stick to that as we go. I thought tonight was good, and we got to play our best game. It's going to require our best game next week to call ourselves champions.